So here I fucking am, fucking having a look at my fire, thinking I got to do that fucking CV in front of this fucking Landcruiser. It's a fucking 100 series IFS. You know, some people say, oh, fucking solid axles, fucking heaps better than IFS. Well, there's some reasons it's true. You can fucking jack them up like a fucking mad dog. But you know what is fucking better? If anyone's ever done a swivel hub in axial seal on a fucking 80 series, you'll fucking love these CVs. Fucking heaps easier. And fuck around fucking kidpins and shit. Anyway, first thing we're gonna do is pull the fucking wheels off. But I'll let me fucking smoke first. I'll just fucking get into it. But first we'll give this kind of fucking couple test pumps. Yep, she fucking works. Fuck it off! Right, got them fuckers off. Now give it a bit of a fucking clean up with this shit. Fucking mother's milk, this stuff. Give it a fucking quick lashing. Fucking. Don't know where I'd be without this shit, mate. Fuck me there, righto. Gonna pull off this fucking caliper. 2 fucking 17s on the back of the dog. Fucking get the fucking thing off! So before you fucking go rip, tear and pulling the fucking caliper off, there's a fucking ABS sensor around the back here. This fucking thing, 10mm. Pull him out. Pull that fucking bracket off. Follow him up. Joins to this fucking bracket. Undo that. Fucking get him off. And this one here, undo that fucking thing too. So the fucking thing's free. Because when you drop this fucking thing, it's all gonna want to fucking fall. You don't want to fucking break that cunt. Fucking do it! Right, fucking next thing, you want to get that fucking dust cover off the end of this. Some people fucking fuck around hitting the fucking things off. Some people get a fucking screwdriver in there and try to fucking pry the fucking thing off. I just fucking grab one of these, fucking pull the cunt off. Fucking easy. You do that, you want to fucking do it. Some blokes wrap their fucking scrotum around and use it like a tea towel gripper. I don't give a fuck, do it how you do it. Next thing you gotta do, pull this fucking circlip out of here. I haven't got the fucking tool with me though, have I? Here we go, fucking got the fucking thing. We'll fucking get in here. Get that off. Put him in that fucking bucket. Alright, that's fucked. That's got it fucked. Next thing we've got to fucking pull out these nuts. Not all the fucking way because we're going to have to hit it and fucking knock these cones out. I'll show you what these cones look like. Fucking good thing, but fucking dog of an idea too. I fucking said it before, don't use your fucking palm to fucking knock nuts off. Fucking not good for your hand, you know? Just, you got to do safe practices, you know what I mean? Fuck, you got that fucking gun. Now you got these nuts backed off. Just to the end so you don't, if you want to fucking hit it with a hammer so you don't want to wreck your thread. So you leave them on, but we're going to give it a hard hit and we want to pop that cone out. Now there's probably other ways to fucking do it, but this is the way my dad done it, my dad before him, so that's how I fucking do it. There we go, fucking. She's popped out. I don't give a fuck how you do it. Alright, got them out. Here's one of them cone washers here. Got a little bit of a fucking slit. So when you tighten him up, that fucking closes and clamps the dogs in there. So next fucking step, pull this fucking flange off. Oh, she's on there fucking tight there. There we go. Ah, you fucking... I can't fucking get it. Hey, here I am fucking filming. Got the camera rolling and I can't get the fucking thing off. Fuck me, I'll get back to you. So that's that off. You see there's a couple fucking locating fucking pins. Remember that when you put it back together. So the reason I'm changing my CV is the fucking splines have triangulated. They've started to wear. You can see on the front here, that's how they're meant to be, all square topped. And same with the flange. Fucking, they've worn out, so I've got to change the fucking things. Now, I'll just fucking look around, have a look at this. Fucking steering tie rod end's fucked. You know, you do one job, fuck another one pops up. Fuck me! Now, if you're just going to replace the CV, you can fucking undo this fucking dog, this ball joint on the upper control arm, take the steering fucking rack tie rod off. I think that's fucking about it. And the fucking thing will drop, and probably, you might have to take this bottom ball joint, I don't fucking know. There's probably enough to pull your CV out from the back and pull the dog out, but I've got to replace this fucking disc anyway, so I'll be fucking getting in a bit deeper. So fucking good on you. So if you're like me and you're gonna replace the disc or do your bearings while you're at it, next step is these lock and tab behind this first nut. You can see it's bent over this one, so knock it out flat with a screwdriver, take this nut off, which you're going to need one of these fucking big ass sockets. I don't know how many fucking mil they are, 52 or something, fuck do I know. And then there's another nut behind that. Fucking get them off. So once you got the first nut, the retainer washer, second nut, and this fucking locating washer, you're ready to pull that off, but be fucking careful because there's a bearing here, and you'll drop the fucking things everywhere. Then you got to clean and repack the cunts. If you've just done your bearings like me, you don't want to fucking do that. Alright, there's that off. There's your fucking spindle, whatever you want to call him. Just clean him up. So now it's time to undo these fucking ball joints. Drop this down. I put a jack under it just to fucking hold things a little bit in place while I do it so it doesn't fucking spring down and fucking bite me. Now with this upper control arm ball joint, undo the bloody castle nut until it's still on. Leave it still on there because we're going to give this a hit to pop it out and we don't want it to drop any further. That'll catch it before it fucking hits the deck. So we'll give him a fucking tap and see what happens. There she goes, she's fucking popped. Now you can undo the fucking dog. So same thing for your steering tie rod, leave the nut on, give him a hit and she'll pop out. Look at that fucking fucked thing. Fuck me. Well, now they're off, she's dropped down. But not quite enough for me to pull that back enough to get it out of that spindle. So I'm going to loosen up the bottom lower control arm ball joint and see if I can get it there. Maybe if you held your tongue right and crossed your fingers you'd get it out without doing that, but I can't fucking get it. Right, that's him off now. You'll notice in the back there's a brass bush and underneath some needle bearings. So I'll probably give them a re-grease while I'm in here, can't really see them. Yeah. Never replace them, but fucking grease them up a bit, she'll be fucking right. Now it's time to pull this out. I'll show you the fucking trick to do that. So now we've got to get the fucking CV out. Here's the fucking thing here, you just got to give it a fucking yankee. Watch me fucking get this out, mate. Oh, fuck, that wasn't it. Oh, fuck. I can do it. There it is. Got the fucking thing. See on the end there, there's a bit of a fucking split washery thing. That just fucking pops in there. I'll show you it on the new one. Look at that. Fucking oil pissing out everywhere. Fuck me fucking dead! I should have fucking jacked it up one side, the cunt wouldn't fucking leak like that, but fucking... What do you fucking do? So I've just cleaned this fucking back of this fucking assembly out and these roller bearings, needle bearings. I'll fucking chuck a bit of bearing grease in there and fucking put a bit of fucking diff oil into this fucking CV and jam him in there. We'll get the fucking thing back in. So I just put a bit of fucking grease around the tip of this with the split washer that we've got to pop in is just to help it pop in. Don't put any grease on the fucking front of it, you'll get fucking hydraulic lock on the end of the dog. You'll have nowhere to go. And a bit of grease around where the seal's gonna fucking rub around. Now I'm not changing the fucking inner diff seal because I haven't got a cut, so if it leaks I'll be fucking pissed off, I can fucking tell you. Right, we've got the fucking CV, the new dog in there. Just give it a fucking good firm push to seat it in the diff. You'll think you got it all the way with a little click, but you really got to give it to it and get that second click. You can feel it at the back when it's seated, but now we'll fucking get the fucking hanger on or a fucking, you know, the whole fucking kit around this cunt. Put a bit of grease in that and feed him down the fucking spindle. Let's have a go. Rightio, that's all that back fucking in there. Done all that up. Don't forget your fucking split pins after you put your castle nuts up. I got that one's on. Fucking CV's in. Fucking looking alright. Now it's time to fucking swap disc, put a new fucking disc on this dog. So I've just got some rags covering up my fucking previously greased bearings. Undo these fucking, what is it, 517s down the guts there. See if I can split this apart, put a new disc on, fucking re-grease the bearing and fucking put the fucking thing back on! Rightio, we got that cunt off. Took a little bit of prime, but we got him off. Now we'll drop the new one on there and do him up. Fucking oath. Right, got the new disc on there. Just putting a little bit of blue Loctite. The red stuff's if you never want to get it off again, the blue is if you do want to get it off again, so fucking put a bit of blue on the cut. Right, she's all back together. I've re-greased that bearings and put a little bit of grease on the bloody spindle and the seals in there. We'll fucking slide him on and have a look. That's what I'm gonna do! Right, we got him back on there. Now next we're going to put our locating washer, our first nut. After we tighten him up and do the preload, we'll put on our lock washer and second nut. So my dad taught me once to tighten up, put the washer on, tighten up the first nut really firm. Fuck, who's this? Fucking stupid fucking cunt. Have a look at him. You fucking want to come into my shit? No! Fucking Jesus Christ! So, we'll tighten him up to fucking 50 pounds. Then turn him forward and backwards a few times to seat the bearing. Then back it off and then just do it up hand tight and we'll work the fucking preloads from there. But I'll put these fucking things on and I'll show you what I fucking mean. Right, so I've got the washer and the first nut on. So now I'm going to tighten him up to 50 pounds. Give him a turn forward and backwards just to seat the fucking dog like I told you already. And we'll back him off and start working on preload. But I'll fucking show you. Fucking hell. Now, how I set my preload, I just use a pair of these fucking fish scales. Some people reckon you put a bit of fucking string around there, but fuck that. So anyway, I've fucking backed him off and I've just nipped him up lightly. So you sit your fucking scale on top, keep it parallel with the car, and you want to be moving, pulling it in the direction of normal rotation of the wheel. So let's see what we got there. Now you want to be between fucking, well, one manual says 6 to 15 and then one says 9 to fucking 12, so I aim for around 10 pound. We'll see what we got here. Yeah, fuck all. So I'll nip him up more and fucking try him again. You just keep doing that until you fucking get it within your fucking range. 10 pound. Right, I fucking reckon I got him fucking close enough. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's good. I didn't be fucking too much. Anyway, I'll fucking put the fucking lock washer in, then the other nut. We nip him up to fucking 45 pounds. To lock it all in, and we'll test the preload again. You gotta fucking double check these things. Alright, that's all fucking good. I'm happy with that. Fucking no play in the dog. It's fucking good. So these lock washers, you can see the fucking ends of them. So you've got to push one back over the first nut and pull one forward over the front nut. So just pick the best spot where it lines up with the face of the nut and bend the fucking things in. Easy. Alright, yeah, fucking got that bent over. Now we'll put our flange on, making sure you line your fucking locating holes up to your fucking locating pins. So slide him on. Sometimes you got to move the disc to line it up, but you'll fucking get what I mean. Alright, now your next fucking step is your cone washer. Little end in, of course. Alright, cone washer, flat washer, and your fucking, no, that's not fucking it, and your fucking nut. Chuck him on. And do it to all of them, tighten all them up to fucking 33 pound, then I'll show you what to fucking do next. Alright, so if you've fucking successfully done that up, you should see on the end of this fucking spline here, and this fucking CV shaft, there's a bit of a notch where your circlip goes. If it's not out far enough to get your circlip on, Toyota put this hole in the end. You can put a bolt in the end of this shaft and pull it out. If you still can't get it, either your fucking gas is too thick or you fucked up something. I don't fucking know how I could help you. Looks like some fucking dickhead, some fucking hero, has fucking put another fucking bolt in there and snapped the cunt. So that's a fucking job for another day. Good on that cunt. Anyway, I'll put this fucking thing on. Alright, that's fucking on. Now this fucking dust cap fucking thing on. Fucking hit that in. Alright, now I'm gonna put some new fucking pads in that fucking caliper. Hang the fucking thing on and we're fucking done. You know, I shouldn't have to fucking show you that there. You know how to put pads in. Eh? If you fucking Google that, some other fucking prick will fucking tell you. I've had enough of doing this now, so I'm gonna fuck off! Look, I fucking felt a bit bad yelling and not showing you the brakes. I'll fucking show you. Righto? Here they are. You'll fucking notice. You can do this with the fucking caliper on there too, but I'm gonna do it here because fuck, I felt like it. So on one side there's a fucking wire. That holds the fucking thing in. Pull it out either end. Ah, fuck! Whip me finger. And then get that out. There it is. Get him out. Then there's just these fucking pins that slide through the caliper. You slide them out, and fucking easy as that, the fucking things will come out the top. Easy as that. So, you know, that's how you fucking change CVs. So, new disc, new pads, we'll fucking see how she goes. See if I get an axle leak or something. Something will happen, there's always fucking something. Hey, fuck, how good are these 100 series, boys? Fucking, I'll make you a man, eh? One of these cars. Fucking beautiful. Fucking good on yous, eh? Where'd it go?